Hi everyone, Mr. Messi here with some information about reminder prompts that we're going to be using here at Algonquin this coming school year. So these reminder prompts have been developed by our teaching staff to help all of us remember some important safety and health measures that we all need to take over the course of the coming year. And we also are asking that everyone respond to these prompts when they hear them. So we're going to talk about masks today. We're going to talk about hand washing and physical distancing too, and our reminder prompts that go along with those different concepts. First, let's talk about masks. Masks are required at all times in the Algonquin building, as well as all other Averill Park Central School District buildings. Mask breaks are going to be provided by your teachers. They will be provided in different fashions based on the classroom activities that are going on, and they'll also take place outdoors as well. Masks are not required once students are outdoors and physically distanced 6 feet. Again, wait for your teacher's direction to remove your mask when outdoors. Masks may be removed for eating in the cafeteria. Of course, that requires you to come into the cafeteria wearing your mask, to purchase your food or bring your lunch, and then find your seat. Once you're seated at your table space, your desk space, then you will be able to take off your mask at that time to eat your lunch. If you are done with your lunch, when you're done with your lunch, you're going to then put your mask back on to walk to the next space. So again, you cannot walk around the cafeteria without a mask on. You must have your mask back on you once you stand up from your seat and move to put away your tray, put something in the garbage, or head out to the recess area. That will require you to have a mask on. Masks also must be worn whenever physical distancing can occur outside. So if there's some reason we have to be outside and we can't be physically distanced, for example, in a fire drill, where we need to be in an emergency type of a situation where we have an evacuation of the building, then you would need to wear your mask even though you're outdoors. Again, you'd wait for a teacher direction to remove your mask when you're outside. And again, making sure that you're physically, socially distanced 6 feet or more. From time to time, we know that folks need to blow their nose, or perhaps they'll need to cough. Maybe you've swallowed a bit of water and it's gone down the wrong pipe, for example. Well, let's talk about that for a second. So first of all, blowing your nose. If you need to use a tissue, of course, we want you to do that. We want you to move away from others at any time that you're going to be blowing your nose. And ideally, blow your nose in the restroom. That's really the best space to do that. And also ensure that the tissue goes in the garbage. Please wash your hands or hand sanitize after you've blown your nose as well. And just remember to please make sure that there's additional space from others when you need to do that. For coughing, of course, we're going to ask that you leave your mask on. The point of a mask is to help catch any kind of expectorant that comes out of your mouth when you are coughing or breathing or talking. And so wearing your mask will help along those lines. Position your face away from others. And as always, since you've learned, since you were in kindergarten or preschool, for example, cough into your elbow, not into your hands. When there is a time where you're not required to wear your mask, we ask that you put your mask in your pocket so that you're not placing it on a hard surface. So let's say we're having lunch in the cafeteria and your desk is out. Your mask should not be placed directly on the desk, because that will give any kind of contaminant or any kind of bacteria, anything that would be on the desk, although they're going to be sanitized and cleaned, that would put your germs on that desk for another person, or you would pick up those germs from some other source as well on your mask. We don't want that. So please put them in your pocket. And then a really cool invention that's seeing a lot of use these days right now is a lanyard of some sort that attaches to your mask. And you can see in the picture that this person has a lanyard that goes around their neck, and they're able to remove their mask very easily, and then it hangs around their neck so that there is no contamination of that mask by touching hard surfaces or other areas, or falling on the ground, for example. So that's a really helpful thing. And it's as simple as a lanyard or some string that's tied to your mask. We know that masks are highly effective. And if you on TikTok or Instagram, you might have seen this video from Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill Nye was very famous back in the 1990s. He was a hero of every middle school kid back in the 1990s who were able to have a little change of pace in science class by watching a Bill Nye video. He does really cool experiments. In this one, he's showing the effectiveness of a mask by showing that when he's blowing through that mask as hard as he can, he's not able to move the flame of the candle. So again, masks are effective in preventing air movement directly out and towards another person's space. Another reminder about when you're wearing your mask, it must cover both your mouth and your nose. And our prompt for this one is going to be mask up. So if your mask requires a little bit of adjustment, we're going to say to you, please remember to mask up. On to hand washing. Hand washing is a very simple but highly effective means of helping to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Please refrain from touching your nose or your mouth during the school day. And remember that hand washing will occur at many different points throughout your school day. We are now installing approximately 20 permanent hand sanitizing stations that will be in addition to the ones that already existed in the building and in addition to ones that will be in classrooms for students to be able to use regularly in the hallway during transitions. At arrival, we'll ask you to please hand sanitize before you enter into the arrival space. We're going to also do that before lunch and after eating. We have our hand washing station tuned up and ready to go outside of the cafeteria. We also have installed 4 hand sanitizing machines right outside of the cafeteria as well. We're going to wash our hands during science class, where we have a number of sinks available for us, during PE, and as needed throughout the school day. Of course, after using the restroom, we're going to want to wash our hands, and also at any other times where that's needed. Students are also encouraged to bring their own personal hand sanitizer to keep with them in their backpack or on their person. That's a great thing to have easily accessible to you throughout the school day. We know that hand sanitizing is incredibly effective. If you look at the UV light situations that have been presented in the experiment on the left side of your screen, you'll see the number of germs before and after 20 seconds of hand washing. We know that it's highly effective in helping to prevent the spread of germs. So our AMS reminder on this one is your hands. And that prompt may sound pretty boring when you hear it like that, your hands, but it will become much more interesting to you as you see our AMS staff music video coming at you soon. It may even be featured on MTV or Vivo. Let's talk about physical distancing now too. Physical distancing is another critically important way to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Physical distancing plus masks make a huge difference in the spread of viruses like COVID-19. Having your own personal physical space is highly important this year. And 6 feet is important, and more space is always better than less. We know that masks plus physical distance make that huge difference. If you haven't seen it already, this video from SUNY Brockport is an outstanding example of why masks plus physical distancing work so incredibly effective. Let's tune in.
We set out to test the effectiveness of mask wearing, so we found a real scientist to do an experiment.
My name is Dr. Michel Pelletier. I'm the chair of biology here at SUNY Brockport, and I'm also a microbiologist.
The experiment used petri dishes to test out how far
oral secretion,
or what I like to call spit, can transfer when these students talk, shout, cough, or sneeze from a distance of 1, 3, and 6 feet away. Then the dishes were incubated for 24 hours. Here's the results. With no mask, growth on all plates at 1 foot, some at 3 feet and none at 6 feet. With a mask, no growth on a single plate. And no growth means
social distancing and masks are effective.
And that's what I like to call science.
So there you have it. Physical distancing plus masks is incredibly important. And our reminder for the physical distancing is space, please. That's a reminder for you to make sure that you have 6 feet of distance between yourself and another person. So space, please is our reminder prompt on that front. We also have a number of spots where we're going to ask you to stand and wait when we're socially distanced and queued up, lined up to wait for something such as arrival and morning meeting to start or in the lunch line. And to do that, we're going to remind you that X marks the spot. Now, it doesn't matter if it's an arrow, a round circle, or an X on the ground. We're asking you to find that spot. X marks the spot. Please stand in the proper location for waiting. So let's take a minute and let's review. Our reminder prompt for masks is masks up. And to remember to wash your hands, we're going to say your hands to stop and think about when the last time was that you used hand sanitizer or washed your hands. Space, please, as a reminder to make sure that you have 6 feet of distance between you and your nearest neighbors. And X marks the spot, a reminder to line up in our socially distanced queue in the proper location. There you have it, our reminder prompts for AMS students as we gear up for the start of the 2020 school year.